Hey, post podcast Stewart here. I noticed something as I was editing this podcast. Apparently, my GoXLR mute button does not mute my recording. So all of my fucking coughs are still in the recording. And I will not go back and edit out all of the damn coughs because that was too fucking much. So I apologize for all my coughs, but yeah, so just letting you know ahead of time that I will be coughing quite a lot in this episode. So enjoy.
Welcome to episode 442 of the Geeks for the Win podcast, the tech and gaming podcast from the GeeksFTW.com, where we cover all things geeky. I'm your host, William, and I'm joined with my co-host, Stuart.
I'm dying.
Oh, boy.
Good Lord. Holy shit. I could not stop. I hit the button to start the theme song, and I could not stop coughing.
You got some water? You need to get some water? Okay, you got something. That's good.
I'm dying. That's why we have not had a podcast in a while. I got COVID, and I'm stuck with the COVID cough.
Yeah, and the cough seems to be like your worst enemy, because you had a horrible cough previously, right? Like, didn't you have a bad cough a couple years ago that lasted for like months? I remember you were like worried at one point because you're like, this cough just won't go away.
Yeah, it turns out it was bronchitis, and once I got medicine for it, I was fine. But this one, I have medicine for it. It's not doing anything. And a coworker of mine, he said his wife had COVID 2 months ago, and she still has a horrible cough. Like, fantastic.
But you didn't lose your taste buds, right?
No, I didn't.
That's good.
There was a while though, I'm like, my water tastes funny. Why does my water taste funny? And it was just my water actually was tasting funny. Then I had Taco Bell one night, and I'm like, this hot sauce doesn't taste right either. And I guess it was just a bad batch because I had Taco Bell today, and it was fine.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok where this guy was, because Arby's has a like spicy something challenge that you can buy, and it comes with a milkshake or something. I don't know. It's some spicy thing, and he's like, this isn't that bad or whatever, but I do have COVID, so. And I'm like, oh, that was a surprise twist.
Yeah, there was another coworker of mine. He like right before I kind of stopped going to the office, he was saying, yeah, like I lost my taste buds. I was eating like ghost peppers, all that kind. It's like, it didn't bother me at first. It bothered me a couple hours later.
Oh yeah, you'll feel it coming out. Yeah,
because I didn't feel it going in, but boy, did I feel it coming back out.
Oh yeah, COVID doesn't get rid of that.
Nope.
At least the current strains. Maybe a future strain will. I don't know.
No, but yeah, I got COVID, and it all started because there's a story behind it too. At least I think there is, where I suspect I got it. It all started with a case of identity theft. Yeah, there's a whole part of this story you have no idea about. Because look, this happened a couple weeks ago. All of a sudden, I started getting a bunch of calls from home lenders saying, "Hey, we see you filled out an application for a home loan." No, sure didn't. And at first, I'm like, these are just scam calls and whatever. But like, even before I answer the phone, like, hello, like, yeah, you filled out an application for a home loan. What name do you have? Stuart. Yeah, that's me. And they had my name and my phone number. Like, what email address do you have? And they had Stuart Pitchford at gmail.com. Like, that's not my email. I have a different email address. I don't have that one. So that's not my email. Well, you don't live at 123 Winding Lane? No, I don't. Like, okay then. And I was like, where did you get this application from? We got it from Lending Tree, which is a legitimate lending service that you sign up for home loans. And I called them up. They had my account information, and they said, "Well, what's the last four of your social security number?" I'm like, "Do you want to sign up?" They said yes. I'm like, "Oh fuck."
That is scary. Yeah. Because that's the big thing.
Yeah.
That's the big thing you don't want getting out.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck. And I gave them the last four. I'm like, does it match what you have on record? Well, we can't tell you that. You have to go to the police department and they have to issue a subpoena. Like, well, fuck. So I left work a couple hours early so I could go to the police department. And that's honestly where I think I might have picked it up, is at the police department. Because 2 days later, I came down with COVID. But like the police officer, he said, "This is the first time I've heard of this type of scam before. This type of identity theft." I'm like, me too. I've not heard of this either. But through this though, I found out I didn't know you could do this, and this is a life tip to anybody hearing this. There are 3 credit reporters that, when your credit is being checked, they go to one of these 3 places. One is Experian. I need what the other 2? It is TransUnion, Experian, and what's the third one? Equifax.
Yeah.
Those 3. Those are like the 3 that your credit score is checked from. And you can go to each of these 3 websites. Get an account, it's free. And when you get an account, you can freeze your credit. Like, where like nobody can check your credit score without your approval.
Oh, okay.
So I went on there, I went all through the websites and froze my credit score. I froze my credit. Nobody can check my credit. Nobody can open up a credit card. Nobody can do anything with my credit without me going in there and unfreezing it. And anybody can do this at any time. So that's a life tip that nobody ever tells you.
I was about to say you should have just made a TikTok about that.
You're right. I should
get a lot.
I really should
get a lot of people. Yeah, so you go viral.
Yeah. That. Yeah. I recommend everybody do that. That way, that's going to save you tons of headache. Because identity theft is the most hassle thing I've heard in the world. But luckily, one of them, I think Experian, let you know, like, hey, has anybody checked your credit score lately? Nobody has checked mine. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe. But, you know, I did file a report with the fuck. Who did I file a report with? Not just the police. The Attorney General's office.
Oh, okay.
So that's where you're, because like the police, they can't really do anything, and I get that, because like, how can you fight identity theft? That is insanely impossible to do. When somebody says,
it's like, what
jurisdiction
I'm this is it? Because
so
I get that.
So yeah, I filed a report. I don't think my identity was stolen. I don't think they had my social security number. But I just find it so freaking odd that somebody signed up my name and my phone number for home lending.
Yeah, that is kind of odd.
It is the weirdest thing ever. I've never heard of this.
Then again, you know, with all the leaks, or you know, all the leaks that these sites have for their, you know, was it privacy leaks or hacks or whatever? It's like, it seems like every other day, or it seems like once a month I'm getting something like, oh, you need to change your password because there was a leak for this, or someone hacked into that, and it's just like, oh, frustrating. Like, I'm just like, just having to change passwords and then getting locked out of accounts because it's like, oh yeah, that's not the password that I forgot. I changed my password to this thing, and it's
that's why I have a password manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, and would have been my story 2 weeks ago. But then Friday, I'm like, I developed a cough. Huh. That's odd. Went to work. Coworkers were like, you're coughing. I don't like you coughing. You need to stop that right now. And by the end of the day, they're like, just go home. We don't want to hear you cough anymore. Go home. Okay. So I left a little bit early. Came home, and I was like, I'm kind of tired. I'll lay down in bed for a little while. I can't move anymore. And that's when I texted you. I'm like, I'm down. Because I started getting, I was like, I can't move. This sucks.
Yeah, you told me I think I have COVID, and I'm like, oh damn, and I'm like, right away I was like, oh, a tip for the body aches.
Oh yeah,
aspirin.
That like, you said Tylenol, and
Tylenol.
The next day I went out and got Tylenol. The day after that, my aches and pains and chills were gone. Like, oh, fantastic. But I'm still
crazy.
I'm still congested, and I got a fucking cough. And the cough has never gone away. The congestion has. Sore throat has. So. And this was Saturday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna. Nobody has home tests for COVID. They're all sold out. So like, I got to make an appointment to take a test. Closest appointment you can make is Wednesday. It's a Saturday. Okay.
It's an issue. Like people, everything's back to the way it was for the most part. And but no, that's why it's still an issue.
Numbers are so much higher than they've ever been. But
I mean, as far as like people going back to work and all this and that, you know, that's the reason why numbers are so high is because we stopped doing all this, you know, all the precautions early.
Yeah, and tested on Wednesday. I tested positive. Tested again the next Tuesday, which was this past Tuesday, and I tested negative. So I'm clean. I'm good to go. I've just got a cough that makes me want to pass out every now and then.
It's crazy. I don't know if you have them where you're at, but there's a place. It's like in the park. It's like in the parking lot of the university here, like in one of the parking lots, and it's this like little like booth thing, and it's just drive through COVID tests.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh my god, this is like the weirdest thing. I never would have thought like.
Oh no, I definitely I've heard people talk about it for the last 2 years now. Of just
yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like before before the pandemic, I never would have thought like drive through medical tests, like it's just crazy.
Yeah, and I went to Walgreens the other day. I'm excited. I'm like, I gotta get cough drops because I don't know if the cough drops are actually helping, but I feel like they are. And fuck, they're all gone. The only thing left are like the generic brand shit. Like I'm a holes guy. There's no holes in this place.
Yeah, it's crazy. Was it the positive? I guess the government's giving away free COVID tests now.
Yes, you can sign up on the post office
website.
Yeah, which I have.
It's only 4. You only get 4 per household.
Yeah. Which like
I saw a TikTok where it was like US versus UK.
Yes, I saw that one too. I'm like,
you saw
that sucks.
You can get more the next day. It's like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You get yeah. I was just
that's because the U.S. healthcare system sucks ass.
And then they're also giving away masks now, but it's like I think you get like 2, and that's it. 2 of the N95. I think that's where they are.
Yeah. Well, anywhere you go, you can get a mask for free anywhere.
Yeah. But at least a lot of places here, they're not the N95s. They're like,
yeah, they're all
I don't think they are
medical masks,
disposable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter because most people here don't wear the masks properly.
No.
They just chin diaper it.
Right.
And it's like, that, I mean, like, oh, it's covering your mouth? Are you admitting you're a mouth breather? Or because like you breathe?
Yes.
Most people breathe through their nose. So.
I do. I do breathe through my mouth though, a lot.
It's like I don't know. It's frustrating seeing, I don't know that, and I don't like seeing like people's noses, like because when you notice the nose more when everything else but it is covered.
Right.
And noses look weird. Like I never noticed how weird noses can look until like you're just focused on seeing people who have their whole face covered but their nose, and it's just like It's odd. It's a lot of weird stuff coming from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
just yeah. Anyways, we've been a bit since we recorded.
Right.
You've been
And
out for the count, and I
since I
imagine
was
you've
down, I
watched some
watched
stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
So
what's something you've been watching?
Well, whoops, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's...
It's been a while. Give me a second. I can't remember how. Which one? I think it's this one. Yes, it's this. Okay. Well, I blame TikTok for this, and I'm pretty sure you saw it too because you sent me a TikTok about this. I watching the new Disney hotness in Encanto.
I did as well. I was gonna say you'll be proud of me. I actually watched a relevant animated film while it's not years later.
Because oh my god, if you're on TikTok, we don't talk about Bruno is fucking everywhere.
Oh, it's beaten Let It Snow or Let It Go.
Let It Go. Yes, it has.
On the billboard, on the
but it's like whatever. Every other TikTok is some parody or some like I'm just gonna dance and sing along with it. We don't talk about Bruno. Like, all right, I'll fucking watch this movie.
I it's not my favorite song in the movie. Well, it's not.
The part of the song that's always sung, I like it's always the aunt and the uncle. It's always their part that people sing. I'm like, I like the cousins part. I forget names.
7 foot frame.
Yes, that one
covered with rats.
Yeah. I like that part of the song, and I like
he says your name. Oh yeah, I know that part.
I like that part, but like people don't sing that part a lot. I'm like, oh, okay.
My favorite song was it Surface Pressure?
Yes, I like that one too.
I love that song. It's so good. I was listening to it like the other day. I was just out, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna put this on.
The day
listening to it.
The day that I watched the movie, for like the rest of the day, we don't talk about Bruno was stuck in my head. And then I was like, okay. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'm like, oh, we don't talk about Bruno is not in my head anymore. Drip, drip, drip. Like, fuck. Nope. Another one stuck in my head.
I saw TikTok where it was like, does anyone else just shout in their house, emotional damn? And then it was like, I'll do you one better. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's either one of those pretty much.
And like the music is really good in this movie.
It's fantastic, yeah.
The story though, it's okay. Like it's not my favorite Disney movie of all time. It's an okay movie. It's okay.
I saw TikTok where someone was describing the plot of it, and someone was like, "Oh, I've seen WandaVision already," and they're like, "No, Encanto." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
you can totally describe it the same way.
Yeah,
like, that's weird.
But it was also on all these TikToks. Like after watching Encanto for the 40th time, I'm like, what the fuck? I've watched it once and I'm good.
Yeah, like I said, like I had that. I wanted to listen to that once the Under or Surface Pressure song, so I did. I pulled it up on Spotify and was listening to it and was like, it's a good song. I love the song.
And like I was texting my sisters about it too, and one of my sisters just said, "Yeah, I've already watched it 10 times." I'm like, why? Like it's not like it's like that good of a movie. Although I will say this, there's like no villain, like a bad guy.
Spoilers the grandma's kind of the bad guy. Like
she like I saw one TikTok. It was a psychology student. They're like, every single person in the movie is a stereotypical example of a person in an abusive family.
I was gonna say it's got some deep stuff. Like that song, "Surface Pressure." It's a deep song. Like it's intense.
Absolutely. It's like oh damn. Like you need a hug and a chair and a lemonade.
Yeah. I could see watching it a couple more times to like try to see stuff maybe that I didn't see the first time, but like, yeah, not like 10 times. And
yeah, I was like, after watching
couple weeks,
after watching Encanto for the 20th time, like Bruno's right here. You can see Bruno right here. Like,
then again, TikTok is telling me everything that I missed, anyways.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
If you look at the pictures, like the grandma's holding the candle with both hands on everyone but what's her name? Like
Maribel, yeah.
Yeah, the one who does, and it's like, oh my god, that's kind of crazy. What? Like,
I was like, it was really the one that was like, every single person is a person in an abusive is a stereotype of an abusive family. Like, oh damn, yeah, they are. Like they're
yeah.
And it's an okay movie. Like I'm glad I watched it.
I am too. One of the things that shocked me was I saw a TikTok where it was showing like the was it Stephanie Beatrice who voices the main character.
Okay.
She's in The Legend of Vox Machina as Lady Kima, and she's also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
She plays like a tough badass character, and I'm just seeing like, because I'm a fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and you know I know that character being this tough, like emotionalist, like just badass character, and then just seeing her like, you know, seeing the it was like the split screen where it was like her sing, like the character singing, and then her in the voice over booth, and it was just like, oh my god, what even is this? Like, I have to see this because this is weird.
Yeah,
I had no idea she could, like, you know, do voices like that. Huh?
But like I
it was
said,
good. But
the music is fantastic. It's very catchy. It's very earwormy, and I'm pretty sure that was done on purpose.
Oh, yeah, and it was the Lin, or the Hamilton guy, Lin-Manuel, yeah. Lin-Manuel, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
So, apparently they wanted it to be Oscar and not Bruno, but like the day of like the table readings, he like said it needed to be Bruno for the song lyrics or whatever, because Oscar didn't work for the lyrics. And
you're right.
I saw that on TikTok.
It doesn't work.
I saw that on TikTok and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool.
But so, what have you watched though?
Look at my list. Mark that off. Actually, I didn't even have that on my list. I forgot, but I remembered I was gonna. I watched something that came out a couple weeks ago, I guess. Actually, the Harry Potter reunion special.
Oh yeah. Did we not talk about that? Because I swear we've.
This is the first show we've done this year.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's the first TV and movie one we've done this year.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then that's what
you're right.
Yeah.
We have not done. Okay.
Yeah. Because that was New Year's Day, right?
It was close to it, yeah. I totally forgot we haven't talked about this.
Eve or New Year's Day. Yeah.
I totally forgot we have not talked about this.
There was a lot of reveals inside behind the scenes stuff from this that was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize how the pressure that the actors were under, and like them just being kids, and like, you know, Emma talked about how she almost quit, you know, got a bit midway through. I'm like, damn.
I wasn't too surprised with that, because you do hear a lot about child actors and
but you don't think about it though.
Yeah. Like, the thing that got me was like how like apparently like Emma and what's his name, Tom, I forget his last name, but the guy who plays Draco.
Oh, yes.
How apparently they had crushes on each other.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
and it's that's bizarre.
I didn't know that either. That was interesting to find out.
Yeah, just like, oh wow, they like really liked each other, and for whatever reason, you know, that was another like Ross and Rachel thing, like not to the same
right
extent, but yeah, it was still like, oh wow, huh, interesting. I thought it was funny how Daniel Radcliffe had a crush on Helen Bonham Carter. Like, of course you did.
I mean, yeah.
I did. Like,
we all have at some point in our lives. I mean, come on.
I mean, in those movies, she was smoking hot. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
okay, I don't know about that, but
I don't know. I thought she looked pretty good. I mean, crazy, but you know,
crazy, definitely. You know. But like, she was probably the best in her interview in that thing, because she was just having fun.
Yeah,
she was just having fun.
She pulls out the teeth and she's like, "Oh, I have," and then she like puts it in her mouth. And
I haven't watched them either.
Okay, that's odd.
And then they go to the Green Got set, and they go behind the counter, and the little goblin creatures are behind the desks. Like, that's kind of creepy.
I gotta say, I feel like the beginning was unnecessary. The intro.
Oh, yeah,
I felt like that seems like a bit too, that you could have, like, I don't know, put another interview scene or two or something, you know, like, why did you have to go through all that trouble and effort? Like, I don't know, it just felt weird and unnecessary to me. The whole like, oh, here's your invitations magically, and
yeah, but it was, I get what they were doing, but I was like,
oh yeah.
But and I know this was done for COVID reasons, but I kind of was like, man, it would have been nice if like everybody was together.
Yeah.
Instead of like each like a small group here, a small group here, a small group here.
Oh, what about the part where Rupert was like, "Yeah, I love you." Yeah, awkward as a friend. I thought that was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was like, oh, this is a little awkward, and then he goes, "As a friend," and it's like, okay. But yeah, it was really cool to see, like, because you know,
I will say this: I was surprised. I was surprised that J.K. Rowling was in it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like, I don't think like she should be canceled or whatever, but I mean, like, there are consequences for shit you say, and you know, yeah.
Oh yeah, people get gotten in trouble for shit they said 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, look at James Gunn.
Right. Actually, there was one recently. For something somebody said in 2001. Like today, I heard about it. It was somebody in the video game industry was like, gaming is like masturbation. Everybody does it, but nobody talks about it. Like, what?
I mean, that sounds like a George Carlin type joke. Like,
true, it does. But I'm like, okay, that was said in 2001. All right. Why are people bringing this up now in 2022?
It's not a bad. It's not.
It's not,
why are people upset?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make sense.
People are too sensitive, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
But like in 2001, sure, that definitely flies back then. Not so much now, but I mean,
yeah, it's dumb. Like the people are just out of control when it comes to things.
Absolutely.
Did you hear about the graphic novel that got banned in Tennessee?
No.
It's called Mouse, and it's like it's a Pulitzer and Eisner winning graphic novel about, I think it's like the Holocaust, but it's like it's with mice, and like you know, it got banned from the school district, like vote 10-0 for like, oh, there's nudity. It's mice though. Like, oh, and there's bad language, and we don't think our children can handle what, and it's like, it's the Holocaust. It's educational, like, and it's apparently like, it's like a semi-true, like, based on the life of, you know, the author who wrote it, like, I think his parents or something like that. And I just heard about this today. Like,
yeah, I'm looking at the Washington Post, that they have an article on it.
It's like okay, an Eisner, I could see some people saying, who cares, it's just comic, but it won a Pulitzer Prize. Like, I don't know, it's just, people are too like sensitive, and it's I guarantee you, all those people who voted, they didn't look at the source material itself.
Oh no,
they
absolutely not.
They just heard what it's about, or, you know, and it was just like, oh, we can't have this. Our children can't handle.
I mean,
naked mice.
I'll
mice. What?
I'll always go back to, this was Fox News. Way back in the day, in like, I think it's like 2006, 2007. When Mass Effect came out, people were up in arms that, you know, there was a sex scene in the game. I'm like, video games are for kids. How dare they show nudity in video games? Like, well, there's not nudity. I mean, you see a butt, and that's it. And meanwhile, Fox News is showing the entire fucking scene. Like, yeah, it's there's a little censor bar of the butt crack, but that's it. You're showing the scene in its entirety, and it's not that bad. And they had like, the argument was like the argument, like, because this was like a debate kind of a thing. They had Jeff Keighley to debate it. They never let Jeff Keighley talk.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman who was against it was like, my son plays video games, and I would be appalled if he saw this kind of stuff. And apparently, like, right after that, her son actually showed her the actual scene, because like, she hadn't even seen the fucking scene. And it was like, oh, that's not that bad. and like apologize on Twitter, but Fox News wasn't gonna say that.
It's also okay, fine. Then your son, you're right not to let your son play, and you should also like you should also know what your kind of media your son
absolutely
is consuming. And like, me growing up, I watched a lot of mature stuff. I like typically wouldn't, but would watch them with my parents. Like, we'd watch R-rated movies. My parents would be there with me to make sure I understood, what was going on and whatnot. And if they didn't want me to see something like a naked scene, I had to turn around, that type of stuff,
Sure.
And it's just like, well, I could take this back to Harry Potter. I remember when the books were coming out, there was a mother of one of my classmates who was trying to like saying it was the devil. Harry Potter is the devil, and she was one of those type of people.
Yeah,
and
not
a lot of people remember that, but there was a big group of, like, I guess mothers trying to boycott Harry Potter back then, because they thought witchcraft and wizardry is the devil. And
there was one of my friends in elementary school, like close friends, like, the group I always hung out with. We go to those houses, we spend the night together, all that kind of stuff. One of my close friends in elementary school. We kind of drifted apart in middle school because that's what people do. And then my senior year of high school, I finally like saw him again, and because we had the physics class together, and the class discussion got on Harry Potter, and he literally stood up and said, "Those books are devil books." Like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't even know the guy anymore. And also, he was a complete asshole by that time too. I'm like, dude, you are not the person I knew. So it's like, okay. And he was all for those books should be burned. Like, Kyle. Because whenever I was like burning books for the church, I always think of Nazi.
Yeah, it was the mother of this of a classmate. She also, like, apparently bought Pokemon cards just to like rip up, because she thought those were for the devil as well. And I'm like, why would you buy them why would you waste money just to, like, what? I mean, as a kid, I'm just like, you're dumb.
There's a story of, one of the first Xbox Ones or Xbox 360s, I forget which one it was. That story of, like, first guy in line got his Xbox, came outside of the parking lot in front of everybody, held it up, and then smashed it on the ground. Like, congratulations. You just wasted $300, $400, $100.
It's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, I was watching a YouTube video, or I was looking through YouTube, and I saw it was like, oh, one of the comic book guys I follow, their Friday like podcast video, and their topic was like banned comic books. And then I started watching it, and they were talking about this, and I'm just like, oh god, this is dumb. Like, this makes me want to read this book now, like, because this sounds interesting. Like,
sure,
like
negative press definitely is like, well, that's gonna make me want to look at it now.
Like, I didn't know this existed. And,
I've never have
and an Eisner Award.
About this otherwise. Like, thanks for letting me know this thing existed. I'm gonna go buy it now.
Like, it sounds interesting. Yeah. And it sounds like, it sounds like a good way to help get kids interested in learning about this type of things, instead of like, you got to read Diary of Anne Frank,
right?
Or you've got to, like, because God, that book was so boring. I hated having to read Diary of Anne Frank. Like,
I'm so glad I did not have to read it, because it just I have to read it as a kid.
Like, we even got to watch the movie after we read it, and I wasn't even excited about watching the movie because the book was just so boring to the point where I was just like, ugh. Like, the one thing that just the number one thing I took away from Anne Frank was, oh, Monopoly is old. Wow. But yeah, I don't know. People are just it's the ignorance that's ruining society.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the comic book people even said, like, the votes was 10-0, so that means nobody read any part of this graphic novel, like, clearly.
And I feel like it's gotten worse since we were kids.
I feel like it hasn't. We just hear about it more because of the internet.
No, I'm pretty sure that flat earthers did not exist when we were kids.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's the craziest thing too, because it's like there's successful people out there who are flat earthers, and it's like, what? Like, oh, okay, like, I just don't get that. You're intelligent and you're a multi-millionaire. What? Like,
yeah.
Oh, and it's also like the anti-vaxxers too, where it's like, did you hear about the guy who, like, isn't going to get a heart transplant because he won't get the vaccine?
Yeah.
It's like, that's your life, dude. Like, who cares if, like, oh, I have a risk of whatever for taking the vaccine. You're not going to live without that heart transplant. Like,
well, that's okay, because that heart can go to somebody who, will be better off for society.
I guess. I don't know. I just it upsets me that there are people like I guess that dumb, like, or that stubborn. I don't know if it's dumb or just stubborn. Like, I really don't.
And it's my question to people who are like, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, anti-gay, whatever stuff. My question to them is always, to what end? Like, oh, the government is trying to turn everybody gay. Why? Like, literally, why? Why does the government want everybody gay? Why? Like, think about it. Like, literally, like, you have no actual reason, like, logical reason to why.
Because of the government.
NASA's just lying to us, and the Earth is actually flat, and they just want us to just think the Earth is round. Why? What is the goal? To what end? What is the goal? Why did?
I don't know. I used to listen to it was one of the comic book YouTubers I watched. They used to also have they had someone on their staff who was into conspiracies, and they did a conspiracy podcast, and I loved listening to, because they didn't believe that shit, but the dude would come like each week and present some conspiracy that people were just up in arms about, and and I just thought it was so interesting to hear the different conspiracies people come up with, or people believe, or think. Like, it's just baffling. Like, and you're right. Like, why? What's the end goal?
Yeah.
Oh, they want money, I guess. That's such a lazy answer I hear a lot of times,
Money. How does making the Earth round money? Like,
NASA wants funding, money.
Like, we don't give them money anymore anyway.
You're not wrong about that. Oh God. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing because that's just sad.
Anyway, Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. I tried bringing you back to Harry Potter. I really did. Uh, but
Yeah, you did.
it was really good. I was kind of shocked that like some of the people they got, like Gary Oldman, they got Gary
Yeah,
Oldman
yeah, Gary Oldman.
like
Because
for the interview.
it's like, hey, I know that guy.
I was like, oh, that was Gary. Oh, because like I didn't really start paying attention to who actors were until like after Harry Potter, like
Right.
until I started to get into like high school, like end of high school. So like I didn't really have a connection. Oh, that's Gary Oldman, and so that really like kind of clicked. Like, oh, that's Gary Oldman in as Sirius Black. Oh,
Yeah, it was like, and they even made a point into like they didn't know the legends that they were working with, like
yeah.
like Rick Rickman, and
Oh, that's the biggest heartbreak is that he isn't here
yeah,
to have been part of that. And I loved how they were like how like Alan Rickman had like they were making a movie where the book wasn't out, and but Alec Rickman knew what was happening and
yeah,
in the book, and the director didn't even know.
yeah, like that's cool actually.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
So like, why are you acting like
But
that? I just know things. Okay.
yeah, but yeah, it's crazy just being like, oh yeah, that was that like like I was saying Gary Oldman was Sirius, because Sirius Black's like one of my favorite characters in the books and the movie. Like it's such a good character, and more so in the books because you know they have more opportunity to flesh out his character and go in details on stuff. But it was just like there's just some of those things where it's like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, it's good. If you're like Harry Potter, I definitely would check out
Oh yeah.
the reunion special. It's really good. Lots of behind the scenes stuff, like how they, got the main it's mostly the main cast and crew, with surprising like people here and there that you'd be like, "Oh, they got the dad, the father Weasley." Okay. Interesting. you know. They didn't
And
get
I didn't know that I didn't know how many of the actors have died. I didn't realize how many of them did. Like I didn't know that Mama Weasley died.
did has Maggie Smith passed away or
I
no?
don't think so.
Or did they not? I didn't think so either, but she wasn't there,
No, she
right?
wasn't.
I don't Yeah, which that was probably like my biggest upset. I would have loved to see her come, and hear stuff with her, because she was so good as
Yes.
McGonagall. Like, like she gave that character so much range.
Yes.
She was strict, but then she'd have some clever, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge moments to the kids. And,
You have
like,
you have seen that person on TikTok who can sound just like her.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen, yeah, it's frightening.
It's
It's,
frightening and hilarious.
yeah. um, I did watch the first episode of that Harry Potter reality show thing competition.
Oh, I would never.
That was bad. That
Yeah,
was really
I could
bad.
have told you that
Like,
before I even knew it was a
I
thing.
I mean, I had heard about it for the longest time, and then, I was just like, oh, I just got done watching Harry Potter. Why don't I watch this? Maybe, I thought, oh, there's going to be Harry Potter questions. I'll see if I know some of them, let's see. And then I'm just like, oh, no, this is bad. No, this is really bad. Like, just the format of it was just not good. Like, as a game show, like,
Oh, I didn't realize it
you
started in last year.
yeah, yeah.
I thought it started this year.
No, like I said, I've heard about it for a while, and I saw stuff, and I was just like, "That's weird." It's got Helen Mirren, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is like that's odd, and just I mean, just as a game show itself, it's not good.
I'm looking
Like,
at IMDb. I'm like, what the fuck? Like Pete Davidson, Jay Leno. The fuck?
I did I know as far as I know. I
Yep, Jay Leno, the special guest.
That wasn't on the first episode then.
Pete Davidson also shows up too.
Like the only special guest I remember seeing on like the first episode was like, "Oh, we have the ghost from whatever Hufflepuff or what I forget which ghost they actually had. It wasn't Moaning Myrtle. It was one of the ghosts from like Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw or whatever. And they
The
were
one
like, we have
that you never really even saw.
Yeah, it's like we have him giving or answer asking a question, and it'd show a video of it, and yeah, it'd just be like, oh, that's. And then they had like this random guy at like who like just pop out from like a secret like like panel or whatever up in the like ceiling or whatever, and just be like, hey, well, the score is this, and it's like we know what the score is, and then it's like, okay, we'll talk to you again next at the end of next round, and it's just like, what even is this? Like I said, like I could see it being like, okay, it's not for me because it's just for kids, but no, it's like it's adults. Like there are some like young teenagers and stuff, but there are some like 60-year-olds play contestants and
Yeah.
like people of all age ranges, and it's just not like I said, the format is just not good as a game show, and I used to love watching game shows back in the day. So but yeah, that's Harry Potter. I just wanted to sneak that in since it was Harry Potter related.
Sure.
The reunion's good, the game show no. Skip the game show.
Yep. Wow.
What's something else you got?
This is something I watched last night because it came out last night or yesterday evening. At least first 3 episodes did. I'm pretty sure you've watched it too. The Legend of Vox Machina.
That came out. Did that come out last night? I thought that came out like
came out last
midnight
night.
Pacific. Okay.
Nope, it came out midnight GMT.
That's weird.
So, yeah, I was scrolling through TikTok, and somebody just like, "Hey, Vox Machina came out at midnight GMT. Go watch it." Like, well, okay, I will. This was like
released early,
like 8 o'clock. Well, I mean, it released midnight somewhere.
Okay, because I remember seeing. I saw it was supposed to be Pacific time, and I'm like, I'm not staying up that late. Like, forget that. But yeah, I did see a TikTok like a couple days ago of someone their screen they got, I guess, Kickstarter people got to watch it early, and it was like it was a TikTok of the TV screen, and it was like Amazon Prime, and it was a countdown to when the episode would start for them, and it was like less than 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I hate y'all for being able to watch this early. I didn't know about this when Kickstarter was around.
Right. Yeah, well, it was the biggest Kickstarter TV show in Kickstarter history. So, but yeah, we got the first 3 episodes. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah, I just got done watching them a little bit ago.
The first 2 episodes were stuff that happened pre-stream, so I'm like, that's kind of cool. And honestly, if I didn't know that was David Tennant, I don't think I could have picked him out.
There were parts where it was like, okay, that's David Tennant, and then there were parts where it's like, Is that really David? Because that does not. And then you'd have to really listen, and you're like, okay, I can hear it here. Yeah. Yeah. I even did the like X-ray thing where I paused it and I'm like, okay, is this the right one that I'm thinking? Is this the right character? I think this is David. Oh yeah, it says it's David Tennant. Okay.
And they actually they skipped like kind of like the first like story arc of the stream. Like they completely just skipped it. I'm like, that's okay, because that was kind of like, yeah. And
There wasn't much to it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to it. I mean, there was a lot of Kima in that one, but they just kind of skipped straight to the Briarwood stuff, which is cool. But
it's definitely the big first arc they have.
Yeah,
the big important one.
I'm noticing they're avoiding all just D&D stuff. They're just straight up avoiding like D&D.
I mean, the intro music is so bad. I don't like it.
After I was like, I watched it once, I'm like, skip it.
Yeah. Going back to TikTok, what's one TV show that you never skip? I see those videos all the time.
Yeah.
Now, and it's like definitely not this one because I skip it.
Yeah.
Because their intro they made with the song that Sam wrote like is so much better. Like,
yeah, I definitely skip the intro to this, but I'm noticing like they're like, for instance, Big B's hand. That was a big Scanlan thing that he used, and he sung it, and they changed the name in the show to Scanlan's hand.
Yep, I noticed that as well. Oh, I did see an Easter egg though. I saw there was a copy of Tusk Love.
I mean, it was literally front and center on the screen. I'm like, I don't think I could miss that of Tusk Love.
But there's a lot of people who probably have no idea what that is. But as a
I mean, sure.
As a fan, like, I was just like, oh my god, it's Tusk Love.
It's Tusk Love, yeah. Like it's pretty good. Pretty good. There's some character changes that like the changes of Keyleth and Pike. Those are definitely different people.
They kind of changed throughout the show also. Like Keyleth changed a lot in the show, like out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, now she's just Marisha and not this innocent, young, Keyleth. Like she's just Marisha now.
They made her very fucking weak in the show. I'm like, same with Pike. They made her very weak too.
Yeah, like when she heals Grog and then she can't heal the little kid.
Yeah. And this is me being a lover of dragons and just knowing a whole lot of dragon lore about D&D, D&D dragons specifically. That's not how blue dragons look.
Yeah.
Blue dragons have a horn on the top of their head.
I was afraid going into recording this episode of saying this, but I'm not really as excited about this show as I was before. Like, I don't know if I hyped it up too much or...
Honestly, I think because we know these people, I just have a hard time just watching these as characters and not like seeing Liam or Laura in the recording booth just saying these lines. I cannot stop thinking about that, just like them just in the recording booth recording the lines. And I'm like, I want to watch this as like these, for these characters, but I can't break that.
Yeah, I saw there was forget what. There was a headline of a review I saw that was like how it's kind of a poor adaptation or like it's just not as good as the source material that it came from. And it's like
Yeah,
I get that, yeah, and
I get
maybe
that, but
this
also,
just
also
isn't meant for us.
you
Maybe
you
this
got to
is
know like where they are, like in these first 3 episodes, like episode 3, like the shit that happened in that episode was like episode like 35 of the show. So I was like, yeah, like they have to skip a lot of parts, but there were also some parts I'm like, okay, this part I know we're gonna, I know Vax throws out his belt snake, which sounds like a euphemism, but is not.
I was excited. I
I'm
was
like,
like, "Are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it?" And then he did it, and I'm like, "Yes!"
yeah, I was like, yeah, it is a belt snake. Um, they didn't have a lot of emphasis on it in that they
There
did
was no
in,
reference to it.
no,
Yeah, it
you
was
know,
just a
like it was just a thing that just happened, but like in that, in the actual game of it, like Liam was like worried about like getting the snake back, like that wasn't a thing. I'm like, okay, and then here he jumps out the window. Oh, yep, and he just jumped out the window. Yay! And there was a big fight where where they kind of lose, and yep, and then first he's going to torture this guy. Yep, okay, that happened, and the end of the episode's like, okay, stuff I remembered happened.
your soul is forfeit line. That was different in the actual game. That was a different person, right? That was someone he actually killed, I believe.
I don't remember.
I watched this. I watched
You've
campaign one a lot
you've
recently.
actually
So
watched it more recently than I
yeah,
have. So
yes, I think it was a different person, and that he actually did kill, and not
which, okay, I'm,
the
yeah,
kid.
they've got to change some stuff up. I get that. I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm like,
but that was a big deal. Like they were like, "What did you just say? Like you said your soul? Like what? Like I wonder how much they're gonna like talk about all that in the show. Like,
yeah, I'm really curious on what the rest of this is gonna be like. Um,
I was kind of shocked there was nudity.
so was I. I'm like, oh,
Even
boobs.
like even though at the beginning it says like the rating and it says like a nudity, alcohol use, and I'm like, oh,
I did. I didn't
that's
even
interesting.
didn't even catch that.
Alcohol use is part of the rating system. I just like skipped over the nudity part. I remember seeing it, but I was fixated on the alcohol use was actually a part for the rating. I was like, huh, that's weird. And then the nudity happened in the show, and I'm like, this is weird.
Like,
What?
oh, boobs.
Um,
And then her legs go in the air, and she puts Scanlan's head to her crotch. I'm like, whoa,
yeah. I was like, okay.
like that's weird. Wasn't
They weren't
expecting,
kidding when they
like
said this isn't for kids.
that definitely happened. There was definitely a lot of like brothel stuff that happened in in the game, but I'm like,
It was just like, oh,
I wasn't expecting to
Scanlan
see
and
it.
Grog went to a brothel, and
Right.
then that's it. Like,
It was a lot of like fade to black kind of stuff, but I'm like, oh, that's, yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all.
it caught me off guard for sure.
Sure did. But I'll definitely watch the rest of this. It didn't turn me off, and I'm like, I'm not as excited for it that I was before I watched it.
Yeah, like as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is good. I guess people who don't know campaign one
Yeah,
are probably liking this a lot more than me. But
like
I guess like
if
there's a lot of details I know that
right,
can't be in this because it's only what, 10 episodes, 12 episodes?
Yeah. Like if I hadn't seen what I had of campaign 1, I would have still watched. You know, this was something I still would have watched.
And and they're like pushing those romances real early on too. I don't know if you
there was a
saw
hint. There was kind of like I if you didn't know, you probably wouldn't have caught it. But I'm like, okay, no, okay, that was there.
There was a hint at 2 of them.
Yeah.
The Vax and Keyleth, and then the Scanlan and Pike.
Well, that one, that though, I mean, that was literally from like kind of the beginning of the stream, though. I mean, you know, Scanlan was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so like that made sense.
But like her side of it though.
Sure. Okay. I get what you mean there. Yeah.
Because you didn't see her side of it till a lot later.
Sure. I actually thought
even
you meant about
referenced
the Vex and Percy, because they they were alone together too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's a little bit there, but I didn't feel like it was as strong or as like,
sure,
definitely
not as like you know, Vax and Keyleth.
Yeah, exactly. Which I thought the Vax and Keyleth thing kind of came out of nowhere, like in the actual campaign 1.
Sure,
it felt kind of weird.
Sure did. But there was a lot we didn't see, so there might have been, you know, stuff before that too.
Apparently not though, because I did watch the like wrap up, and like he talked about like maybe the first time that Vax got interested was this one part, and it was like past what
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, it did like, kind of seem to come out of nowhere.
Then again, like I also felt the Yasha and Bo thing kind of came out of nowhere as well. So maybe maybe Marisha's just not good at RP romancing.
Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that.
Wait. But yeah, I just remember why I just was watching this and just thinking like, I'm enjoying this, but I guess I wasn't on hype mode until I saw that cast list or that cast video.
Yeah.
Where it showed like David Tennant, like I said, Stephanie Beatrice, is Kima, which I'm like perfect casting. She plays a badass in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Kima is kind of a badass, and
which we would have, in the stream we definitely saw. We have not seen that in the show, nor Kima's relationship with Laura.
Exactly. Yeah.
We haven't seen that either.
The David Tennant thing, I was like, oh, he's gone already? That's sad.
I'm like, well, this isn't that character we know. So something happened to him.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. They did say like, we're going to introduce new stuff from, like the pre-campaign and adjust the story in accordingly and stuff. So it's I don't know. I never didn't know. But.
Yeah, I mean, guess that's like there was a missing character. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Although by this point he was already gone.
I guess, yeah. Which good riddance, because that was one of the hardest parts of me getting through the beginning of campaign 1 was that character.
Yeah. And like I didn't notice the stuff about him until I saw like, well, why he isn't in it? Why? I was like, and then I started noticing stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, he just didn't mesh well with the stream. He obviously did pre-stream,
Yeah, I don't know. He just like his personality was just like, oh, like I want this, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, I want to do all the, it's like, well, you only have an action, a bonus action, and movement,
he wanted to be the star.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the star.
And it's like, oh, I left, and now I have my own bag of holding, and I have this, and it's like, what? Like, yeah, it really was weird. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing more, but it's also kind of a bittersweet realization that it's like, oh, not all my favorite parts might not be in it
Yeah.
because they have to condense it a lot.
Yeah.
That was kind of, as I was watching, I was kind of realizing, oh, that, and then I was like, Tusk Love, yes. It's so stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, and then there was that.
And then I thought that poster was the Ruby of the Sea from far away, and then it turned out just to be like some dragon lady, and I'm like, oh okay.
That didn't even occur to me that could have been the Ruby of the Sea. Like, oh yeah,
I was
that
like,
totally could have been, but it wasn't.
Yeah, at first from far away, I was like, oh, is that a tiefling? Is a red that'd be the Ruby of the Sea, right? Oh, that's interesting. Oh no, it's a dragon lady. Okay.
That would have been really interesting if it was.
Right, yeah.
That would have changed the whole thing. I was like, I wouldn't even, I don't think I would have even caught it. That would have been the Ruby of the Sea.
Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting. And I love how, like, with the Amazon, you can just like pause and be like, okay, who's playing?
Yeah.
You can, they have the X-ray where you can be like, okay, this is okay. There's David Tennant, of course, I know that. There's that. Okay, yeah. It's like, who's playing? I was like, I did that for like Delilah Briarwood because I'm like, who's playing her again? And I look and I saw and I'm like, I don't. It's okay. I don't recognize that person.
Well, I was curious, like, how many characters is Matt gonna play?
That's why I was wondering. Yeah, like because when they announced he wasn't going to be Gilmore, I was like, that's the one character he should be.
Honestly, like and like the Gilmore thing, like, it was kind of there, but also kind of wasn't.
Yeah, I definitely liked Matt Gilmore versus the guy they got.
Yeah. Let's see who did they get to the Gilmore? I think I know him. Oh,
And then they kind of have the like the original song, like the original song they made as like fight music. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like
I didn't catch that.
They incorporate the like your turn to roll or that song. They incorporate that into like the like fight music and stuff like that. Because I was like when I was hearing certain parts, the lyrics were popping in my head, and I'm like, so good.
Not the entire cast is not on IMDb. That's weird.
That is odd.
Oh no, I had to click a button. Damn it. Let's see. What do I know this guy from? Sunny. I don't know how to say his name. Mahotra. Mahotra. I don't. Let's see. He was in Legend of Korra. I don't really know this guy. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen things he's been in, but yeah. But yeah, I feel like the whole Gilmore thing, he wasn't quite there, and that
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
Like Gilmore is like one of the standout NPCs
Yeah.
from campaign 1. Like,
Which makes me think, oh, who's another one? Shit, what was his name? Um, um, the gunpowder guy. Um,
oh yeah, yeah.
I want him to show up too.
I don't know if he will or maybe not season 1.
Maybe not, because that definitely was kind of later, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, you're definitely right. That I did notice they're trying not to like mention any like D&D anything.
Yeah, like, you know, they've not
Like
mentioned that.
when she couldn't heal the boy, she just said she was weak. Didn't say anything about like spell slots or anything like that.
Right. Who's Pike's deity?
Saren Ray.
Saren Ray, right? Which they've not said that name either. Which I think would be odd, because that was made up for, I think,
Well, she said something about because her like little
Everlight.
like necklace.
She's been saying Everlight, not.
Yeah, her like holy symbol. There was something weird with it, or it wasn't working, or something. That
Which I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, but I kind of wish I could watch this without knowing what I know,
Sure. Yeah.
just to see like how I would enjoy it, as
Yeah.
something on its own. But sadly, I can't do that. You have more to say about?
I'm just looking to see if that was a particular DD in that world, or maybe it's from another book.
I mean, they made a lot of stuff up in campaign 1 that ended
Sure.
up like that. Like, I was shocked when they introduced Artagan. I was like, oh, he was introduced in campaign 1. Interesting. Who of course became the Traveler in Mighty Nine.
Yeah.
Being
That
jesters. Yeah.
I knew he was a campaign 1 character. But I didn't have any connection with him. Still don't, where I've seen up to campaign 1. But yeah. What else have you seen? We've only talked about 3 things, and we're an hour and a half in.
Yeah. My next one, something that I can talk about real quick. Speaking of David Tennant, we were talking about that earlier. I saw something else with him. Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh, really?
It's a PBS/BBC thing where it's on like PBS here and I think BBC there.
Got Jackie Chan in it, right?
No. That was like, God. I was about to say 10 years ago, but that was probably a lot longer than 10 years ago. I'm afraid to look that up.
Try 18.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Great performance by David Tennant though in this. Him playing the main character Phileas Fogg, I think. Something Fogg.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Where he's like this like a kind I don't know if you call it like aristocrat, but the upper class. Like he does the same thing all the time. Goes to like this gentleman's club thing or whatever. Not a strip club, but just like a club where men go to like play billiards and smoke and sit around, that type of thing.
The original Gentleman's Club.
Yeah, the original Gentleman's Club. He goes all he has the same routine. He gets like a postcard in the mail that says like coward, and that really gets to him. And then he's at the club and they're talking about the new technology and stuff, and they're estimating you could probably go around the world in 80 days or whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna do it, and just does it, and just decides to leave that day. And it's pretty good. There's a lot of character growth between him. There's him. There's I forget. I don't even know how to pronounce it. There's a Parpatoon, something like that.
Paw Patrol.
It's his attendant assistant that he hires, that he really didn't hire, who got in trouble, who was working at the club, got in a fight, maybe killed the guy he got in a fight with. It's kind of ambiguous, because he the guy got. I think when he gets in a fight with the dude, the guy I don't know if he gets stabbed if he gets stabbed or if he accidentally stabs himself, but he gets stabbed in the hand and then just falls down, and it's, you don't know if he's dead or not, but the sidekick character is in trouble, and he runs and hears how David Tennant's character Phileas Fogg is he telling one of the people who work at the club, oh, call me someone to be my assistant. I forget what the term is, but call someone to be my attendant or something. There's some term they use, but he intercepts it and lies and says, hey, I come from it, and then there's the female character who's a reporter who wants to travel to be able to write about it, who happens to be the daughter of Phileas Fogg's friend. So it's the three of them traveling and getting on hijinks and shenanigans, and so it's David Tennant and his companions.
Huh. Okay.
And it's real funny because he has a pocket watch that was his father's. And I'm like, headcanon, this is the Doctor just in human form. And
I watched that episode not that long ago.
But then he loses the pocket watch. I'm like, damn it, why? Oh well. But it's pretty good. Like I said, it's on PBS. I think you can watch it on PBS's website for free.
I've seen it advertised, but it might have been on Fire TV. I've been seeing it advertised.
Yeah, I think you can watch it on the website for free, and then there's a PBS Masterpiece subscription service, I think. I don't know. And then you can just watch it on BBC, and I ended up doing that because I've got a VPN, and so and it's all there versus it's not all out, I think, on PBS yet. I think there's a couple episodes left, but it's really good. They're doing a second season. Not quite sure what that's going to entail. I saw something they want to make it a Jules Verne multiverse thing or whatever.
Cool.
Which is weird because they actually referenced Jules Verne as a writer in the actual show, and I'm like, that's kind of meta.
A little bit.
Like that's a bit interesting. So yeah, so there's gonna be a second season of that, which, you know, like I said, it was fun, it was enjoyable. David Tennant was great. His two like supporting actor and actress, like they both were great. They all had character growth and development, and it was fantastic. I enjoyed it tremendously. You know. And it was a great role for David Tennant because it was one of those roles where David Tennant was able to actually act to his fullest. Versus, you know, there's some stuff where David Tennant does where it's just like they don't give him a lot to work with, you know,
right?
And those are the disappointing things. I feel like. But then there are some things like this, and then like, you know, him as Kilgrave, Jessica Jones, where he was able to just like be straight up evil bad guy, something he never really does. And then, you know,
Barty Crouch Jr., where he just licked his lips a lot.
Yeah, he didn't get a whole lot for that. But yeah. So I'd highly recommend it, you know, Around the World in 80 Days. And if you know about the story, then like it's the ending is, you're gonna know, you know, the ending if you know, or the it's not like they changed that.
Sure.
Which you know, it's like, oh yeah, because time zone, so they got there a day early, and yeah. So I knew that going in, and I'm like, are they gonna actually change that? No, they didn't. Which it's like it's, I mean, that's such a historical thing, so I guess they couldn't, but
sure.
Yeah, good. Recommend watching it. What's another one you got?
I got a docu-series on HBO called How To with John Wilson. There's actually 2 seasons of this. This actually first came out, I think in 2020, and then second season came out last year. How To with John Wilson. John Wilson is an interesting person. Like he comes across as socially awkward. Like he's definitely not a great conversationalist. Like he asks like awkward questions. Like the first episode is how to make small talk. And I don't know if he does it on purpose, but his humor is actually pretty darn funny. And also the situations he finds himself. Like this is an actual person living his actual life, and the situations he finds himself is like, what the fuck is going on? Like he talks about, you know, like how to make small talk. Just kind of, if you ask a question to 2 different types of people, you'll get 2 different responses. And it shows him asking a question to a philosopher at some university. He's like, you know, like, do you think mankind will ever return? You know, like, well, it just goes on this long philosophical debate. And you might get a completely different response if you say go to a WWE event. Do you think mankind will ever return? No, he was like
I prefer Cactus Jack over Mankind.
That's a fucking it's just like, that's hilarious how you just did that. And he's talking to this, just he looks like your stereotypical just wrestling fan. And then just kind of like after he asked that question, he's like, well, what do you do for a living? Well, I catch child predators on the internet. What?
Okay.
So he invites me over to his house, and I ask him about how he goes about catching child predators, because you would have to make small talk on the internet to I'm like, that's a very weird way to get to where you are. Like, it's shit like that.
Interesting.
And like he has to just walk the streets of New York, because this is all in New York City. That's where he lives, and he just has to walk the streets of New York, and he films fucking everything, because he catches some of the most random ass beef footage you've ever seen.
Interesting.
And there was one episode, I gotta look up what it was. Give me a second. How to cover your furniture.
Okay.
And
Like in
it's
plastic
actually
wrap? Like
yes, that's part of the episode, is like
a grandma?
yes, and he actually like interviews some people who have plastic wrap over their furniture, but it kind of goes into well, why do we want to protect things and like collect things that we just want to hold safe? And it kind of gets into the art of actually collecting, like like movie memorabilia and stuff like that. And then it goes and then there's also nature's covering too, and it just shows him he's just walking down the street, and he comes across a guy trying to yelling, informing people on the streets about the downside of circumcision.
Okay.
And that led him to another person who is trying to regrow his foreskin by using weights that he hangs on his junk, that the dude then demonstrates. And you literally see everything.
This sounds like ADHD, the show.
It kind of is.
Like, as someone with ADHD, this sounds like.
And it just and then there's a point where the guy's talking with his junk out and like a weight hanging off of it. And of course, at night there's also a good time, and it shows him attaching shit to his junk and then attaching it to his bedpost, and then you just kind of sleep like that. So, you see anything good lately? Yeah, I watched this movie the other day. Oh shit, what was it? Parasite. You're just having this conversation about Parasite with your dude just laying on a bed with his junk out. What the hell am I watching? And it is the most fascinating, and the dude is he's socially awkward, and just it's very funny. I recommend watching this. They're not long episodes. They're only 20 something minutes. How to put up scaffolding, how to improve your memory, how to split the check, how to cook the perfect risotto. I've not seen season 2 yet, but I'm definitely gonna watch season 2. And this dude is amazing. how the situations that he finds himself in.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, sounds random.
It really is, and like how he can somewhat tie it into the topic that he's talking about, and like like he didn't go out to like oh, I'm gonna cover this topic today. No. He got the footage first and then figured out how to tie it into a one topic. Like the topics came after the fact. After he got the the footage he had. So, yeah, how to with John Wilson. It's on HBO. Highly recommend it. What else have you been watching?
I'm gonna quickly talk about 3 things real quick that are not gonna take up a lot of time.
Okay.
One, something I forgot about that was forgettable.
Oh yeah.
How I Met Your Father.
Oh, okay.
The sequel show or the reboot sequel, whatever show to How I Met Your Mother. But this one has Hilary Duff.
I've not seen her in years.
Well, they filmed. They had the whole cast together to do the Lizzie McGuire. There were pictures of the cast together, and they were doing it, and then that got canceled. Very disappointing. Just like this, How I Met Your Father is. The first 2 episodes. They launched it with the first 2 episodes out. I think the third might be out now. I don't know. This is on Hulu. This is a Hulu original show. The writing is really not that great. There's a lot of jokes that are just like, what?
Can Hilary Duff still act? Because she has not acted in forever.
She's actually no, she hasn't been acting. She was in the show Younger. That went on for like 6 years. Yeah.
What?
It was on TV Land, which is weird, but it was a show about this like mom who's like in her 40s, I think, like early 40s, late 40s, whatever, whose daughter just went to college, and she decided, okay, now I can go back to my I raised my daughter, I can go back to work. And then she finds that she's overqualified for a lot of jobs. And she's, and she can't get like assistant jobs because she's not young enough. So she decides to, someone says, "Oh, you look so young." So she decides to lie and say she's like 20 something. And,
so millennial? The
TV pretty series. Much. Yeah. Okay. They even make a, it's because it's based in like the book publishing world, which is weird. But they even make an imprint called Millennial. So yeah. It's a good show. I liked it. But Hilary Duff was in that quite a bit for the last like 6 seasons, I think, something like that. She was good in that. But anyways, she's all right. It's just I feel like the writing is just, they're not giving her good stuff. Like some of the jokes that are coming out are just not good and are just awkward and weird. And the How I Met Your Mother is like such a hilarious show. Like I love that show. There's so much humor behind it, and I even come up with
or is the laugh track really funny?
I don't know. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of clever stuff I get TikToks of like how I Met Your Mother clips and stuff like that, and I'm never like upset because I enjoy a lot of that stuff. Neil Patrick Harris made that show, so. But How I Met Your Father is kind of kind of weak. I mean, it seems like they're trying to capture certain things, and then it also feels like, oh, we have to have a gay character. Oh, we have to have this type of. It's one of those things where it's like we have to have representation for this and for that, and some of the stuff feels kind of forced, and some of the jokes kind of fall flat, and it was kind of disappointing. I wasn't excited about this, but I was like, "Oh, well, give it a chance." I like Hilary Duff. I wanted that Lizzie McGuire reboot or sequel, but we're not going to get that, sadly. So, at least this is something she's going to be in, and disappointing. Next disappointing thing, the Injustice animated movie.
Oh, I completely forgot that came out.
And it's on HBO Max.
Oh, I've not seen that advertised at all.
Yeah, it's not great.
That's disappointing because the source material is amazing.
Well, they forced all of it into one movie when they gave Long Halloween 2.
Like, I mean, Long Halloween definitely should have gotten 2. I mean that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm
assuming it's all year 1. That's in.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's all, yeah, like where it wraps up, and it's like, oh, okay, that happened and that happened.
It ends with Superman in a red sun cage.
Yeah, and
yeah, that's the end of year 1.
Did they call Nightwing Deadwing, or was he just Dead Man? I thought he was just Dead Man. He just took the mantle of Dead Man. Because, like, when he dies, he, like, I don't know, gets presented to whoever, some goddess, whatever, and she's like, "You are now Deadwing," and I'm like, I thought he just took the mantle of Dead Man, like the character Dead Man. I don't remember them changing the name, but yeah, whatever. But yeah,
I don't know.
Like, they hit on all the beats. So your arrows don't have caves. Bats have caves. Why don't you call it the quiver? And
sure, yeah, that's
they touch on all that stuff. All the points, and it just feels rushed, like. And the acting's not the best, I feel like. Yeah, I don't know. I just from what I've heard, I haven't really watched a lot of the animated stuff, but from what I heard, there's a lot of like misses lately from the animated movies. With some exceptions, of course, like Long Halloween. But like there's been like hits and misses. And it's not like it used to be where it was just all hits.
All hits. Yeah, I feel like once I feel like the first like big miss was Killing Joke.
Oh, that was so bad. Oh my god, like, why are you gonna have Barbara and Bruce hook up? It's dumb. No. What? Just there's so much bad about that. Yeah, but yeah, Injustice. Yeah, it was just like it felt rushed. It didn't to where it didn't feel like it didn't feel like the characters progressions and stuff. Like Wonder Woman's all like, yeah, I'm on your side, and then all of a sudden she's just something happens, and then she's just like, oh yeah, I think you've gone too far, Kal-El, and all this, and it's just like, what? Like, huh? Okay.
I guess I've not seen like the past, like before the long Halloween. There are 3 that I have not seen. So I don't know.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't good, but it was on HBO Max, and I was just like, sure, let's watch this. Why not? You know,
I
at
completely
least I'll
forgot
know.
it was coming out. That's
Yeah.
that tells you something.
I mean, the fact that it's on HBO Max this early is also telling, you know?
Yeah, when did it come? When actually come out? October.
Oh, really? Was it that long ago?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
October 19th.
Yeah. Then I guess that makes sense. But yeah. Last thing to mention about stuff not so good. Book of Boba Fett.
I've not watched it yet. Really, you don't like
The
it?
first 2 episodes are kind of all right. Then there was a interesting. Not to spoil it, but there's kind of like 2 storylines, like past and I guess present going on. And like the past stuff is really interesting, and then once that kind of gets completed in a way, and then it kind of just like falls a little flat. Episode 3 is not great. A lot of people did not like episode 3. There
I've
was like
I've been kind of holding off to watch to wait. There was more. I could just binge it. So
yeah,
that's kind
I
of
waited till there was 3 episodes, and yeah.
just disappointing that.
Um, episode 3, there was a lot of like, what? Like, that looks really bad. Like, there was a speeder chase, but it was like these, like, there was this gang of
I saw
like,
something on TikTok that put that scene with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
oh, of course, because the colors, yeah, just,
Yeah, I'm like,
but like, it just did not look right because it's not like they were moving fast. Like, they were like kind of moving slow, and it just did not, I don't know, it just didn't work right. Episode 4 is all right. I mean, it's better than episode 3. I haven't seen this week's episode, but from what I've heard, this week's episode is just a Mandalorian episode.
I thought there were only 4 episodes out. When does it come out? What day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Episode 5 was this week.
Okay.
From what I hear, it's just a Mandalorian episode, and everyone's praising Bryce Dallas Howard, Ron Howard's daughter, because I guess she directed the episode, and they're like, people are saying, I've been seeing on TikTok and stuff, people like, give her Star Wars, more Star Wars. She is great at so like, episodes 5 is apparently really good, but like I said, from what I hear, it's just people are saying it's just a Mandalorian episode. So,
oh, I didn't realize that that Pedro Pascal was actually in it, and like he's in three episodes.
I don't think he was in any of the ones I saw. Maybe later
Well,
on.
it also has Ming Na Wen is in 7 episodes, so
Okay, yeah.
So it's
Yeah, she's in it, and she's good, of course, because she's a badass.
because it's Ming Na Wen.
Exactly. She's just Melinda May, and in the Star Wars universe, like it's like badass character, but just different universe, which I'll take. But yeah, it's just there's like I said, 1 and 2 was all right. 3 was disappointing. 4 was kind of meh, and then I haven't watched 5. So yeah. So yeah.
Looking at Ming Na Wen's IMDb, it shows known for. What do you think is there?
Agent May, Pocahontas.
No.
Street Fighter.
Yes.
And I guess this.
Nope.
That's what I would guess.
Mulan, because she was Mulan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Oh no. No one wants to remember that.
That's what she's known for.
Oh,
according
no.
to IMDb.
Wow, I didn't even know. I watched that once and did not like it and never went back. Like, maybe
She
it's
was
not as bad as I remember. I don't know, but
she was the main chick in the movie.
yeah, it's weird to go back and see. Like when I remember seeing her and Street Fighter and being like, oh my god, she's so young in Street Fighter. I mean, she doesn't look bad now by any means,
No,
but it's just comparison. Yeah.
I mean it. 30, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, those are 3 things I thought I could quickly talk about, and like not the best. The Book of Boba Fett might be all right when it's all said and done,
Mm-hmm.
but that 3rd episode people were really not happy about.
Mm.
Like I heard a lot of different people talk about like that 3rd episode really turned them off on it.
That I guess because I've not seen a whole lot of thing. I've seen a couple things on TikTok, but not a whole lot. I guess that's really telling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did Mandalorian so well before Boba Fett, so
Yeah.
then when you go to Boba Fett, like, you know, you're trying to do something different and it may not stack. Like I said, the first 2 episodes they had like a past plot where I guess I don't know, not really spoilers, but it's the Tusken Raiders. There's a big thing with the Tusken Raiders. Amazing stuff.
Oh,
Loved it. Oh my god.
I did see something about that. Like there was
So good.
somebody wrote an article like, oh, this new episode of Boba Fett makes me feel kind of bad for the Tusken Raiders in the prequels. I'm like, you didn't feel bad before?
Yeah, they do some good stuff with the Tusken Raiders. I in those first like 2 episodes. By the end, I was just like, yeah, like this is good. I think like I said, the 3rd was not great. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else, and then the 4th was kind of meh.
I did see another thing. So somewhere in an article, like the book of Boba Fett completely changes the Boba Fett character. What character?
There was no character.
What character?
Yeah, like there was nothing. I think I told you like it's funny because there was an episode of Parks and Rec where Patton Oswalt is playing a character and he like starts filibustering a town meeting.
From what I hear, they literally like from what I've heard, they had
it's the same thing.
They had to have used that
exactly. He starts
for this.
Yeah, his character reads his Boba Fett fan fiction to like filibust a town meeting.
That's not fan fiction anymore. It's fiction. It's now this now what actually happened. It's now canon.
Yeah, which is so good. Like I love it. So yeah. What's something else you got?
I guess I got anime.
Oh.
Okay. The first one I'm going to talk about is actually one you have seen and you have talked about. I finally watched it, and I watched both seasons of it. My Next Life as a Villainous, All Routes to Doom. I finally watched it.
Oh, good.
I liked it.
I hope you liked it.
I liked it a lot. It was great. Brief synopsis. Girl dies, and it's an isekai. Girl dies and finds herself in a world of a dating game that she knew, and she turns out she's the villainess of the story, and goes
And
about.
she has an accident where she hits her head,
Yes,
and that's where her
and
memories
like
come
all
back.
of her memories come back,
And
and
she was this horrible person before then too, because she was the villainess in the
right.
yeah.
She was she
I
was
like that twist,
she
like,
was she
yeah.
was described as a brat. Um, and Celia has completely different completely different personality change that completely changes everyone around her.
It's a reverse harem.
It's a reverse harem. You know, where what we're like, not only are the men after her, but all the women are too.
Not all of them. The one girl, she wants her brother to get with her.
I mean, she's kind of all with it. I mean, she's like, hey,
Yeah, she wants to be
I
around her,
wanted.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's trying to get her brother in there too, but she's also kind of in there too.
Yeah, that's true, but yeah, and the main character is oblivious, of course.
I've never seen a more dense
I feel like it's because she's
character.
trying so hard to focus on avoiding the doom flags, like,
Yeah, but I mean, the absolute density.
it's pretty bad, yeah. Even after the dude starts kissing her and, like, she's
Well,
still, like, yeah.
yeah, it's like, um, yeah, one of the dudes actually kisses her and says like, "I am in love with you." That's when she notices him, and then something else happens to one of the other characters, and then she completely forgets that. And he even acknowledges that she's focused on what's happened to this other character, and has completely forgotten anything about me.
Yeah,
And
she can be a
I
total
am waiting
ditz,
on
like,
season 3. I hope there's a season 3
I hope so too.
because
It's such a good
I thought,
show.
okay, season 2, I apparently knew how it ended, and I didn't know that's how it ended, because I knew in season 2 that I from what I knew, that she finds out that there was a sequel to the game she was in, and I'm sitting there watching season 2. I'm like, well, when is this gonna happen? Oh, it's the last fucking episode that she comes to this realization. Like, oh, okay, and it's the end of the last episode. Like, okay, there's gonna be a season 3, right?
Yeah, season 2 was a bit weird, I felt, the pacing.
It, it went
There was
from,
a lot of
okay,
episodes, like, with her
she's
brother being
kidnapped.
kidnapped and
It
yeah.
started out with she's kidnapped, comes back, her brother's kidnapped.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I remember watching it being like, "This the pacing of this is kinda odd." Like, they're not really, like, tackling, like, doom flags, like, second sequel to the game type, like,
Well,
as much
they
or
didn't. That wasn't even addressed until like I said,
yeah,
like the end of the last episode, when she has like a vision of the sequel to the game.
yeah, very odd, but yeah. I liked it. It was good.
It
It
was it was
I
very
enjoyed, like,
enjoyable.
how, like, everyone reacts to, like, the character changing and how she's, like, she changes everyone from, like, "Oh, I'm, the brother to the one who she's, like, engaged to, or whatever, like, the climbing the trees thing as kids and you know, then that leads to, of course, oh, he's in love with her as well because everything has to lead to they're in love with her, but, like,
Okay, apparently there is going to be a movie.
okay.
So while season 3 has not been announced, a movie has been announced.
Okay, that's good. At least there's something to wrap it up, you know? I feel like there's a few different shows that that are doing that. They're, like, wrapping up with a movie. Because I know there's one about I think it was one of the was it the one about the anime studio or the game studio? I can't remember which one, but there's one where it takes place on one of those. I watched them both like back to back, so that's why I can't necessarily remember which one. But one of them, there's a movie coming out to wrap up the series. But yeah, I feel like that's interesting. But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. And I'm glad you actually watched it. Yeah,
I did. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. I knew I had a feeling I would, but I just never watched it. So it was always on my list, and you know, being sick this past couple weeks, I'm like, finally watch it.
okay.
So what about you? You got anything else?
Something else. I do have uh two more things. One is something similar to Encanto, where it's something I kept seeing on TikTok over and over and over again, to the point where it's like, okay, I'll just watch this. And that is Tick Tick Boom.
Tick Tick Boom.
It's the Andrew Garfield movie where he portrays Jonathan Larson, the musical playwright who's best known for making Rent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There's TikToks of him in like from certain clips and songs that I see all the time. When it's just there, and it's impressive because apparently he didn't know how to sing, and he learned how to sing in a year to do this.
I did hear about that.
Yeah. I mean, he's not like the best singer, but like if you told me he didn't know how to sing, I would have been like, really? Because he did a good job in this. Like, he's definitely passable, you know.
He seems like somebody who could sing.
Yeah, right? Like, you know, I would think so. Yeah. You know. But apparently no, he didn't know how to, like, and he learned how to, and I'm like, you can just learn how to sing? Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, for some people.
Wow. Yeah, I guess true. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this was really enjoyable. It was like lots of like apparently Tick Tick Boom is also it's an adaptation of like of a play or musical or whatever, it was a musical, I'm guessing, because there's musical note in this, but it's an adaptation of a musical that he actually made about his life called Tick Tick Boom. This is also directed by Lin-Manuel. What
What
So
kind of person thinks about like, you know what would make a good play? My life.
my life, and I'm not even 35 yet. No. I mean, it was good. It was enjoyable. Like it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of like heartbreaking moments, a lot of moments where you're like, oh, there's the okay, this stuff is inspiration for, Rent, which is what he's best known for, is making Rent. There's a lot of stuff like foreshadowing and a lot of like emotional breakdown, distress, stuff like that, which is like I can relate. Like he has a song where basically it's like, I'm turning 30. The world is too much to handle. I can't, I don't know how I'm going to handle, like there's basically a song pretty much like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm there with you, buddy. Like the world is a bit much right now, especially right now. Like,
yeah,
but, it is fantastic though. Like I would highly recommend, checking this out. I think it's on Netflix.
yes, it is
Yeah.
a
So
Netflix original.
yeah, and like I said, it's Lin-Manuel from Hamilton, and Encanto, and a lot of other stuff. Just perfect perfect person to direct something like this, I guess. Also, it heartbreaking because apparently, he died the night before the opening of Rent from a brain aneurysm.
That sucks.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, like that is heartbreaking. Like, and he was only 35 too, so he died young, which is just just it's crazy, But very good though. Like mute songs are great in this. I've seen like TikToks of like Jonathan Larson actually doing it, and then it shows like Andrew Garfield's portrayal. Andrew Garfield is just amazing in this. Like, and that's another thing. I was just like, after Spider-Man, I'm like, I really do like Andrew Garfield. Like, I've always said like I like him as Spider-Man. It's just his movies. It's just like it's mostly the second one. The second one wasn't great. First one was all right. I mean, I own the first Amazing Spider-Man, so I don't obviously hate it. But I always liked him as Spider-Man. You could definitely tell that he loved the character, and
Yeah.
seeing all the stuff now, he does love the character. And so yeah, then I'm just like, oh man, what other Andrew Garfield movies are there? So I may go down that road soon. But Tick Tick Boom, it's pretty good. What you said you said animes, so there's more.
Yeah, I got a couple more. I started watching one. I keep seeing like some of the like the greatest animes of like 2021 or stuff like that. So I started watching Tokyo Revengers because I kept seeing it on lists. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And it's about this guy. He's in his mid-30s, relatable. Who he's kind of watching the news, and a news report comes up that his girlfriend from middle school was killed, and apparently, like, she was his only girlfriend he ever had, and like that was kind of like the peak of his life was in middle school, and that's kind of what he thought. I was like, that kind of sucks. Goes to work, does his job, and he's on the way home. He's pushed in front of the train, and is sent back in time, not to another world, back in time. And he's back in his middle school self, and he's like, man, I had shitty taste back then. I was a dork. Oh, he didn't say he was a dork. He was a delinquent as a kid. So like he's, that type. His hair is like bleach blonde. And he's, his group of friends are talking about going to another school to beat up the other second year kids and that kind of stuff. He's like, man, you were terrible kids. And he slowly kind of realizes he kind of lives out that day, and he kind of realizes that like his girlfriend from middle school, he actually was really in love with, and he just really didn't know it. So it's really sad that she died. Then it comes across her brother, who was also killed at the same time as, and he tells he's just kind of like like kind of depressed, like, just, hey, remember, 15 years from now, you and your sister are gonna die, so keep this day in mind. Shakes the kid's hand, and is teleported back to the present, where he was apparently saved from the train by the brother, and he figured out he can travel in time and change the past. So they're now trying to change the future to where she doesn't die, and that's actually where I've reached. And it's very interesting. The show is like it's full of delinquents and gangs and stuff like that, and I'm thinking like, man, a lot of these kids they're fucking middle schoolers. They just need a baseball bat to the fucking knees. Like, these kids are awful.
Yeah.
There's multiple scenes of like the main character getting the absolute shit beat out of him. I'm like, man, if I was in that situation, I would not just fucking lay there. I personally would probably end up trying to kill the other person. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you and let you, not even send you to the hospital. But I'm like, I would have fucking killed you. I would have stomped on your fucking head. So like, it's interesting so far. I'm definitely gonna watch more of it.
Okay.
This is dubbed, by the way. All right. What about you?
I got one thing I really want to talk about, and then I'll just squeeze one other thing real quick in here. Ghosts on CBS, great show. It's a adaptation of a BBC series. It's got Rose McIver, who was from iZombie.
Okay.
Where she inherits like this big fancy estate house or whatever, like fancy old ancient, like mansion estate from 1800s type thing. She inherits it. Her and her husband decide, oh, we can maybe make this into a bed and breakfast, and she ends up getting into an accident where she almost dies. She falls down the stairs, hits her head, goes into a coma, wakes up. She can see the ghosts that are inhabiting her house.
Sounds
and there's
hilarious.
people from there's people from like the Revolutionary War. There's someone from there. There's a Viking from way back then. There's like a Native American. There's
I like the Boy Scout with the arrow in his neck.
Yeah, there's a Boy or there's a like a I think it's actually I think it was a Girl Scout teacher or instructor. Okay. Like he was in charge of the Girl Scouts, Girl Scout leader, I guess. And then there's like this what's it called, like stockbroker guy, whatever, type dude, and there's like this jazz singer from like the 40s or something like so there's like random various personalities clashing. It's pretty hilarious. She can see the ghosts, and
how embarrassing would it be to die without your pants on and you're sick as a ghost without pants?
Yeah, it'd be kind of bad. And they all have like weird abilities. Like the dude from the Revolutionary War, he died of dysentery, so whenever he passes through someone, they smell like this god awful smell. Thor can Thor, which is the Viking dude, he can make the lights flicker or whatever. The guy with the stockbroker guy with the pants, he can touch an item. So he actually moved a vase. He poked at a vase and moved it, and it fell off a table, and He was trying to like make it crash, but it didn't crash, and that's what she actually stepped on and tripped and fell down the stairs. But it's hilarious. It's something that I've seen a lot of people like rant and rave about on TikTok. So I finally watched it, and it's getting to season 2. So, like I said, this was a BBC show as well. So just another show we stole from them.
Sure.
But the main thing, last,
because that's usually gone well.
Yeah, it's good though. You know, I like Rose McIver. She was great in iZombie. She's good in this. But the main thing I really wanted to talk about was the show that started the TikTok trend. What show's intro do you not skip and watch all of? That's right. It's Peacemaker. This show is amazing. I love this show so much. So does the rest of the world, apparently.
I have no interest in it whatsoever.
It's so good. It's fantastic, Stuart. Like, I'm shocked to be saying this, but and it's not just me. Like, the people are loving this show.
You're right, and I'm seeing a lot of TikToks about it, but I'm like, I hated that character so much in the movie.
Yeah, I'm with you, but like, James Gunn, I don't know how he does it. Like, I hated Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad. You know, I hate you for killing Rick Flag. You know, like, Peacemaker, what a joke. Those was Rick Flag's last words. And like all that stuff is like mentioned in this, like, it's so ridiculous and it shouldn't work, but it does. And it's like, I don't know, like the intro is great. I don't know if you've watched the intro or not.
No.
It's this like weird like dance routine that they do to this like hair metal band song. Like, was it Wigwam? I've never heard of them, but they even like I looked this up on YouTube. They even renamed the title of their music video to include at the end parentheses Peacemaker theme song. Because I guess people want to see where this actually came from, but like it's this like dance routine that they do, and they're all straight face. There's no emotion to any of the actors, and it's just this weird like thing that's just like it's impressive, like that they can do this thing, and they're all just emotionless. And I saw there was a theory behind the intro might have something to do with the plot, which I'm not going to go into that because that would be spoiling, but it's fantastic. Like, I would highly recommend this. This is like the highest rated DCEU property, like, which is the weirdest
not a high
thing.
bar. That is not a high bar.
They've got they got what was 94 on the tomato meter for critics, 84 on audience score. So it's pretty high. They've got some good people in it. They've got they have weirdly enough they have James Gunn's like wife. I think it's his wife is in this. I didn't know that until I saw something else, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of weird. But they've got like I can't remember if she was in Suicide Squad or not, but then they got like they had like the bearded white guy from Suicide Squad, or the Suicide Squad. They have him in it. They make fun of him a lot. They've got like they've got one of the actresses from the show Orange is the New Black, which she's great in this, and she was great in that. I'm trying to look up IMDb to make sure. Yeah. They've got the T-1000 Robert Patrick as Peacemaker's father.
Interesting.
Who's, spoilers, he's the lead, he's the leader of what is basically the KKK.
Oh, fun.
And it's this weird, crazy thing, and he makes these helmets for Peacemaker that are like magic, like super high sci-fi tech, like that they do all they're different ones that do all weird things. Like there's some weird stuff to this. There's basically a DC's Deadpool in this. It's a character vigilante who's like one of he's probably my favorite character in this. He's great. Like this, I'm telling you, Stuart, this is a fantastic show. Like I was shocked. Like I only watched it because it's like, okay, it's why not? It's on HBO Max. I have HBO Max. Give it a shot, and it just caught me off guard. Like, was it they even got what's her name who played Amanda Waller? They have her in here for a little bit as Amanda Waller. I think she was in the first episode. But it's I don't want to spoil anything, but it's surprisingly really good, and I've heard nothing but good things from this. Weirdly enough, to the point where I like the comic book channels I watch on YouTube. They're like, I am shocked that I'm liking Peacemaker more than Boba Fett, but that's just how it is, and to where people are like, I'm excited to watch Peacemaker, and I'm not really that excited to watch Boba Fett. And if you would have told me this was going to be the outcome a month ago, I would have thought you were a liar, but that's kind of where I'm at. They've given Peacemaker a lot, like more, because he has more time to focus on him. They've done a lot more with his character. They've to where they've made him kind of likable, which is very weird. I know you're thinking no way, he was such a shitty, horrible character, but like that's how he was portrayed in Suicide Squad and in this. Like, I mean, it's not a spoiler because it was in the like trailer, but there's a scene where he has like a meltdown where he's like crying because everyone hates him. He's like, why'd you have to kill Rick Flag? Everyone hates you, and he's just like has an existential crisis meltdown because like, why do you have to be such a dick and all this and that, and just like addressing all the problems people had with his character in the Suicide Squad. And I'm enjoying it. It's great. I recommend it. I know you're probably not going to, but hey, it's on HBO Max if you change your mind.
Yeah.
At least check out the intro. It's very weird. Like it's very weird and impressive to say the least. Like I wonder how many times it took them to actually shoot that, because like I said, all of them are doing this like choreographed, like weird dance routine, and they're all straight face. They have no emotion whatsoever on their face. And I'm just like, how many times did they have to do this? Because, I don't know about you, but whenever I try to be like straight face, like no like I it's hard for me. I end up like cracking up when I'm in a spot where it's like super serious, and it's like I can't, I'm always worried I'm gonna like, be the guy to start like laughing at a funeral or something weird like that. Like the most awkward moments, like just For example, like that's not one of the first things that just like a moment where you're not supposed to be laughing, but
Right.
like it's like don't laugh, and you just. So I don't know how they were able to do that, but and it's a weird song. Like I said, it's like Wigwam. I've never even heard of that. Do you want to taste it? That's the name of the song.
All
like
right.
it's just weird, but like it works with the straight face, like dance routine, no emotion. And like I said, I saw there was a theory that it might involve the plot, but or it might involve there might be a theory that involves the plot. It does make Bat-Mite canon in the universe, though. There is a scene where they make Bat-Mite canon. So there's
Wait.
that.
That's not a character I'd ever know. Okay.
There's a character that's like, I'd rather work with Bat-Mite than you, and he's like, who? He's like, it's an interdimensional imp that stands Batman. He's like, that's a thing, and he's like, yes. It's like Bat-Mite's canon. Nice.
If Bat-Mite's canon, then so is Mr. Mixoplex.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had him in the Supergirl show, so. Anyways, it's enjoyable. Like it's not the most serious thing in the world, and I think that's kind of good about it. It is goofy, and there are fun moments to it, and it's not like this super serious dark thing that the DCU EU was trying to do for the longest time. Like everything DC movie related had to be dark and edgy and grim and and this definitely has James Gunn feeling to it more so than anything, I feel like. So yep, that's it for me. That's all I got to talk about. What's the last stuff you got?
I got one thing. It's the only anime I'm watching this season because I've not found really much anything to watch this season. And that's The Land of Lendal. It's one of this season's isekai. Some you've heard this before. There is a VR game that a person is using while in a sickbed, and that person dies, and then wakes up 200 years later in the VR game. That's pretty much what the plot is. And she's OP, and yeah, a couple things have happened. She's got adopted to the VR game. There's like an adoption process where you had like NPC kids.
Okay.
So she's got a couple kids that are running around that are like two of them are elves, one of them is a dwarf, and she herself is the race of an elf. So like being over 200 years old, not really that surprising to anybody, but like the fact that she looks way younger than her kids is kind of funny. Because like they're like two like one of them is like basically the overseer of this major city, and like another one is like the headmaster of this prodigious magical school, and they're like, "Mommy!" And everybody's jaws drop, and you got the dwarf who's like this sea pirate kind of a guy. He's like, "Mom!" Yeah, it's funny, but like it's nothing groundbreaking. But like I said, there's not much going on this season.
I guess stuff I'm watching is kind of I guess technically stuff from last season that's
Yeah.
still going on because it's dubbed.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're
Like,
coming to the end of last season, but I'm like,
yeah,
like I'm looking at like my anime list for like this season. I'm like, like I'll watch a Attack on Titan, but I'm gonna wait.
like I am caught up and started watching the one where the assassin gets reincarnated as the aristocrat,
I
but he's
I
actually the
I
assassin.
finished that one. That one ends good. I enjoyed how that one ended.
Okay, yeah, they just came out with episode 10, and so that's the last one I watched.
Let's see. Yeah, there are. Let's see. There are 12 episodes, so there's only a couple more episodes left.
Yeah,
on that one.
That one, and then the one where the brother of the hero opens the pharmacy and all that. That one's about to end as well.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm just watching ones that are about to end from last season.
Yeah, I guess there's another one that I've watched. Let's see, where is it? The strongest sage of a disqualified crest, or no, the strongest sage with the weakest crest. That's what it's called. Did you ever watch Misfit of a Demon King Academy?
Yes.
It's that.
Okay.
It's literally it's that, except instead of the Demon King being reincarnated, it's the hero.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's pretty much the same, which isn't bad. There is one that I tried to watch. I watched 2 episodes of it, and I was like, I feel kind of burnt with that Paladins show from last season, where like it had I kind of liked it because it had promise, but it went absolutely nowhere.
Oh, is that the one with the which one?
We're
The Fairway Paladin? Or Fairway
yes,
Paladin? Is that the one? Okay, that's on my list, but you're saying it's not good?
It has promise, but like it doesn't go anywhere. At least where I watched it, and I made it to episode let's see, because it still shows up, episode 7. I'm like, it doesn't fucking go anywhere. And then there's another one this season. I watched 2 episodes of it, called I don't think there's an English translation to the title. Oh, Rust Eater Bisco.
I think I've seen that.
Where it's like there's a lot of action, a lot of shit going on, but there's no story behind it. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm getting like, it's almost like it's a hard shift, but the other direction from that show. Like you're getting a lot of shit happening, but not a whole lot of explanation on what's actually fucking happening.
There's one I did start watching that I'm just like the first it's one of those where it's like, oh, this is the first episode, and then it totally like changes completely second episode on, and it kind of got me in a weird like feeling because I really liked one of the characters. That's so I guess that's a minor spoiler or whatever, but it's in the title. I guess the detective is already dead.
I think I heard of. I think I've seen that being talked about.
Yeah, first episode was great, and then second episode, it's like, oh, this is, this is we're flipping it upside down, and 3 years later or something like that. I don't know. Like all this stuff has already happened, and this is where things are, and it's just like, oh, huh, okay, interesting. Thing that I heard the other day that really got me like, oh, Sword Art Online, that takes place this year.
Sure does.
That's weird.
And there is which is like, that's fucking weird that Sword Art Online takes place this year.
Like the MMO beta, the beta or alpha or whatever is in like June or July, and
there is a VR MMO that is in development right now.
I think I saw TikTok, and that's Zenith. Why it was, yeah.
It's called Zenith, and it's supposed to come out this year.
It's so weird.
Because I saw TikTok was like, did we learn nothing from Sword Art Online? And then it was a duet. Like, yes, it's something we've realized we want. We want to be taken away from this world. We want to go away. We want to be taken to a fantasy world.
Like the whole concept of full dive kind of scares me, even before like Sword Art. You know,
sure.
Because there was other stuff besides Sword Art, like Dot Hack Sign came out like,
yeah, but that was
15 years before.
Yeah, but I don't think that was like full dive though.
I think it was. Because they get trapped in it.
I'm seeing if I can try it. Like, what's the history of full dive VR?
But yeah, I was like, wow. Honestly, I thought Sword Art took place like way in the future. Like, I didn't realize it was 2022 until I saw TikTok like a little bit ago.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, wow, that's weird.
Maybe there wasn't a term like full dive, because I'm only seeing like references to Sora online.
Yeah, that was probably the one that coined the term.
Yeah,
but I think Dot Hack Sign was like a full immersive thing, because they did get trapped in it. So
yeah, like, but I didn't think it was just kind of like more like a Tron situation. And it's been forever since
yeah, it's been like
been
I said,
forever,
like so long. It's like when YouTube first came out. I think that's when I watched it, because I watched it on YouTube. I watched a lot of animes on YouTube. Each episode was split in 3 parts because videos had, links, maximum lengths back then. I watched all of Yu Yu Hakusho on YouTube that way.
Okay, no, let's see. It was called full mounted display in Dot Hack, and it was visual and audio output. That was it.
No, okay.
So it was VR, but not immersive. but yeah.
2002. That was 20 years ago. Oh my god.
Oh, God.
I was like, I was gonna say like 15 years ago, but like, that's, oh my god, 20. Wow.
That means I was in high school, and that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
That does not seem right. I thought it was young. I thought it was younger.
Crazy. Yeah. Like I keep saying, half my TikTok videos are just videos that make me feel old.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, this is 20 years old, or hey, let's do a song challenge, you know? And it'll be like there's one where I've even seen stitches. That's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Stitches. Or duets, or no, duets were, I don't know, whatever. But
duets are side by side. Stitches are when the person actually fully like takes over the video.
Okay, no, then I think it's a duet. It was like one of like this like chick who's like dressed in the full Hot Topic outfit, whatever, and it's like she's doing a song challenge, and it's like Panic at the Disco, like all these like populars, and she has no idea what they are. And someone,
the trend with that is to pretend you don't know when you actually
you pretend. That's why I'm guessing. Yeah, and I saw a stitch, or I saw a duet of someone like, no, there's no way you don't know this.
No,
Come on now, that's dumb. You don't know that. You know this.
I've seen more of like, you know, where they go through like the entire list of all the songs and like they didn't know a single one. Like, yes, you fucking did.
Like, exactly. Yeah.
Like that is more of a trend to say you don't know than to say you do know.
There's no way you shop at Hot Topic and you don't know Panic at the Disco.
Right.
Or Slipknot. Like,
oh, you were born in the 80s and you don't know Macarena? You fucking liar.
Right? Yeah. Like, I after like the fifth time I saw those, I'm like, okay, these people are lying, because there's no way there's no way these people don't know some of these songs.
No, it's like I said, it's a trend to joke that you don't know.
Like I can imagine. I'm okay with people saying, "Oh, '90s is oldies," like, because they're young and young stupid kids. So sure, whatever. Even though I feel like when we were growing up, we didn't say '80s or '70s were oldies. Oldies to us were like '50s
50s
music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
is 80s now.
classical music. I saw someone refer to 80s music as classical music. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, that's like half my TikTok now is just like videos that make me feel old. Yeah. Gangnam Style came out 10 years ago, or this is the 10th year anniversary of Gangnam Style. Really? That feels, wow. That, okay.
Well, for you, it wasn't that long ago, because how long ago after it happened that you found it?
It was only a year after. So 9 years. So, but still, like, there's other examples that are even worse. Like, these songs are turning 20 this week, and it's like, oh my God.
Okay, I just looked up what is considered oldies music. Pop, rock, and R&B released and played on the radio between 1950 and up to at least 10 to 20 years before the present. I'm sorry, music in 2012 is not considered oldie. You stop that.
Oh, one of the songs was also that the chick didn't know was like a Paramore song. And I'm like, oh, come on. Paramore's not that old. That's like 10 years ago. Y'all know that shit. Stop it. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
mytuneradio.com. Golden oldies. Listening to music of the 70s. Like, hold on. No. That's not right.
Yeah, because the 70s was dad music to me.
Yes. And it was
that's when my dad went to high school, was the 70s. Oldies was 50s. Like,
yes.
Beach Boys, the Beatles, those were oldies. Well, yeah, Beatles, Beach Boys, and
Beatles kind of.
Yeah, I felt bad. They like didn't have a category. Like, no, they were just the Beatles.
They were just the Beatles. They don't have like a genre, because they were so.
But like the Temptations, that's oldies.
Yes, the Temptations.
Yeah.
Chuck Berry, yeah.
Elvis. Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Not Michael Jackson, but Jackson 5.
Jackson 5.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Motown oldies. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not old. That's old. We're not old. We're not old men. I don't have gray hairs. You have gray hairs. Oh wait, you're younger.
I do have a lot of gray hairs.
No, stop it.
I do have a lot. I have so much gray hair. It's ridiculous.
I have no gray hair.
But that's more of a I don't know. It might be it might be, I don't know. My father had gray hair at an early age, so I want to say it's just genetics. But also stress induced, probably, because look at the world we live in. Who isn't stressed out right now?
Yeah.
Who doesn't have gray hair? Those who died.
If you're gonna go gray early, go Steve Martin. That's
right. Exactly. Or Ted Danson. He looks great with gray hair. Yeah.
I was talking about like Steve Martin went gray at the age of like 20.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Okay. I mean, I don't actually know, but it seems like it.
Yeah.
Because I have never not seen that man with not gray hair.
That's the thing. Steve Martin's looked the same age for the last like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like 30, 40 years. Like, remember that movie? Remember Cheaper by the Dozen with Tom Welling and Hilary Duff and Steve Martin? He looks the same there as he does now.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I was kind of close. He went gray at 32.
That's my age. I've been having gray hair for the last like 3 or 4 years, but like I said, that's like my dad. That's, I think, genetics. Alrighty. Anything else?
No. No,
okay, we've been going on for a while.
We've been going on for a while, so
we haven't had an episode in a while, so it makes up for it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Stuart's at Casual Tear, and I am at Will Play Games _, and we will catch you next time.
And remember, no animals are harmed making this podcast.